hi folks. Hope you're doing good. I think some of you might remember Grasshopper here. I've got him here to tune him up. I'll tell you why in a minute. But before I get going, I got to straighten out something. We got a phone call from a guy in New Jersey, only because we know what the area code. So I couldn't understand you, partner. Nothing personal, but I just don't understand you. He wanted to know, as near as I could tell, which bit was which on my videos. And this is my missing link snaffle bit right here. So if that clears it up, this is the one that people purchase. Alright. While I'm at it, I want to tell you that these horses, the Grasshopper here, he's a 7-year-old now. And I think I've mentioned it before that when they're 10 is when I expect them to be broke. And he went back to the ranch, and then now I've got him again to get him good about a couple things and take him around. You might call it a nose bag. So I'll show you that after a bit. But right now I just want to tell you that I think other people run into the same thing I've run into. And this horse, I've been riding him in a Western bit, half-breed, for quite a while. And he got stuck. In other words, I need to get him to separate the difference between his forehand and his hindquarter, so that there's no doubt in his mind when you're asking for something that he does it. And the reason is because I need him to just move his hip over when I turn. Sometimes he doesn't necessarily have to move his whole foot, but I need him to shift his hip over. So I'm gonna school him in my bit and explain to him again, beyond all doubt, how to move his hindquarter without moving his forehand. And then I'm going to ask for his forehand. And I hope you understand what I'm getting at here. Is you get a horse and you're working cattle, and he's a young horse. This is a young horse because he's low mileage. And you start working cattle and you're trying to do this and do that. Well, no matter what, your hand gets to move around. And then the horse gets confused. And then the horse gets braced up. So he's lost the concept of the skeleton. And it's nothing personal. It's just part of the horse. And I guess the moral of today's story is that don't be afraid to go back and offer him something else. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk his hindquarter around his front end. And what I want him to connect is that when I move my leg back and displace my weight to the forehand, that tells him that he needs to move his hindquarter. So I will pick him up and say, "Excuse me," and he just kind of leaks into collection. And he's getting pretty nice about that. And after I've done that, now I'm going to place my skeleton over the forehand, reach back with my right hind foot, and take my leg off and on. You'll see it in a second. Now here's the part everybody gets in trouble with. I want the rear end to go this way. Pretty soon the front end starts walking. Don't put your foot up in the shoulder. Don't do anything creative. All you got to do is put your leg on them like this to block it. But if it isn't wandering off, don't put your leg on. Leave your leg off so that if you do put your leg on, it means something. Be aware of what you're doing. Tap. Check. Check. Tap. 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 And you see how he's kind of tentative? That's what I mean about his foot being stuck. Now, if you have a hard time with the back cinch, just take it off while you're schooling. It's not like you're going to be tipping a bull over or anything. So now I'm going to go the other way, and I just reach back, roll my calf. I'm checking him so he doesn't go forward. And I'll squeeze with those legs if he starts to back up, and I'll put this leg on if he starts to leave with his right front. This is all about my left leg. Now as I work through this exercise, I want to not bend the neck. If I have to start off by bending the neck, that's fine. That's what disengages the hindquarter. But I want to end up where his head's just nice and quiet. And I just barely see his left eye, because that's what's going to end up when I ride him one-handed. So you're responsible for like 5 things here at once for this horse to understand what you want. Now you've got collection, contact, which means excuse me, displacement of weight, rolling the right calf, blocking with the left foot, take the left foot off, spur. Now watch my foot. If you have a horse that's absolutely stuck, just take your foot out and say, that's what I mean. He doesn't need that, but that's what I'm telling you if you've got one that's, cold-sided, dead-sided. Now this, we talk about seat bones. It's another point of confusion for people. You don't drop a seat bone. You don't lean. Your seat bones are flat, just like this. You just lean forward and read. If you drop your seat bone, you ask them to side pass or do a leg yield of any kind. You keep your seat bones flat and keep the center of your shirt on the center of the mane. Excuse me, rolling my calf, asking, right leg is off, left leg is on, tapping, tapping. Now, lower your head. It's over. It's real important that you lay the reins down, because now you can tell the horse it's over. Don't worry about it. There goes the exhale. Changed his mind, looked at something else. Head is melting. What I'm doing right now is just equally as important as the other part. It all is part of the same exact thing. Now when I pick up these reins, that means this horse needs to check in and say, what is it you want to do? After you've done this 2 or 3 times, the horse mechanically in its brain says, oh, I'm going to disengage the hindquarter. Well, that'll tell me that he's got it. Excuse me. Asking. Tap, tap, tap. I haven't had to use this off leg, which I'm really glad for. Now as this gets better, he's just going to cross over more. Now something that you may think I'm contradicting myself on is that if I'm backing a serpentine, when I walk backwards, I actually turn my skull, and that helps the horse turn. But I'm doing it when their feet are, all 4 feet are moving. That's why I'm not moving my skull now, because I'm just in one place. Now I'm going to go the other way one more time. Excuse me. Lean. Left leg on. Right leg off. Block with the right. I felt it coming. Left. Left. Now, there's no doubt in his mind. Remember how I started this conversation. I need to get him to connect to my hand working cattle, working in the alley. The other day when we were working cattle, I noticed he was kind of stuck. Well, that's why I'm doing this today. All right, so now the forehand has to do with your skeleton. Now your upper torso is going to get active. You're going to turn to the left, open your left shoulder, and if you have trouble understanding your right seat bone, just raise your shoulder as you open it and you will feel your right seat bone go down. At the same time, your right calf turns, your left leg opens, as in tighten this muscle to take it off. Now the horse knows that it's got the entire state to turn in. The hands say, excuse me, and I'm going to try to keep the neck as straight as I possibly can. If I have to bend the neck a little bit, fine, but if I bend it too much, I'm just going to blow the hindquarter out. So just sit up, say excuse me, open. You want the left front to reach out and back. Now he's heavy in my hands doing that, so over time this will get better. Now this entire exercise, you don't do this for hours, this only takes minutes. To the right, right shoulder open, left calf rolls, right leg off. Now this is where the brace is, right here. I don't want him to side pass, I want him to reach back. So I'm going to pull back farther and put the weight on the hindquarter. This is what I'm talking about him being stuck. This is what he's having a hard time with. I've got another way of doing this if he really has a real hard time. So I'm going to try it again. Open. Here it comes. Reach, 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 reach. Now his feet are getting it, but he's still bracing on my hands. You can feel the cadence. You can feel the foot move. Now don't get all overdone about this deal. At this point, I don't care if they step behind or in front. I just want them to move that front end as opposed to the hindquarter. Now, if you're really having a hard time at the front end, just walk in a circle. You've seen this before. Walk in a circle. There's the bent horse. Now you open your shoulder, come in with your left leg, pull back with your left hand, and ask the horse to move. Now, I've had some people get a hold of me and tell me I'm contradicting myself in my hands. Well, if you were sitting here, you'd understand what I mean. I'm bending the neck one way, and if I've got, say, a pound to get this done, and if I pull with 3 pounds on my left hand, that means I'm going to turn the head the wrong direction. So you just pull straight. Here's the direction I want. There's the right eye. Now, straight back shifts to the hindquarter. Shoulder, roll, roll, there. You got to be true to yourself on this stuff. This horse is, you know, I've punched cows and all the stories, everything you ever want to hear about. But the fact is, he got stuck. Okay? It doesn't matter to me. I just know he got stuck, so I'm going to take the time to fix it. Excuse me. Left hand, left eye. Right hand static. Roll the right calf. Open the left shoulder. Ask. If he starts forward, I'll pull back harder with my right hand. Ask. Wake those feet up. He's pushing on my hands. That's going to go away. And now I've separated the forehand from the hindquarter. So now, you build on that, and it'll become a dance, not a brace. 10 minutes a day, 15 tops. Go riding. Don't go riding. Come up, work on it. You don't need an arena. We come up here just so we can brag about the view. But you can do this anywhere. I've been known to saddle my horse, do it right by the tack room, get off, unsaddle my horse, and kick him out because I got to mow the lawn or something. Which is a joke out here because we don't have lawns. Okay. I wanted to tell you about a little something on the big outfits. I mentioned before you're always waiting on a truck. Well, for those of you that don't know, when a semi actually does show up, and I've worked on outfits where we're waiting on one, or we've got 18 to load, depending on where you are. But when the truck backs up to the dock, his gates need to be set, and he's got to come back and go through his truck and get everything prepared. And then he's going to ask you, what do they weigh? And you tell him you got 65 head because they're weighing whatever. You tell him the number of cattle you have, and he will say a series of numbers because there are compartments in a semi that hauls cattle. A lot of people don't realize that, but there's several compartments. And there's a name for every compartment. And it's depending on where you go, it can be the doghouse, the garage, the cooler, upper, lower. Anyway, he'll say, okay, I want 10, 5, 17, 17, 8, something like that. So you write those numbers down, and then that's all you need to know. And then he'll holler, bring them, because he's usually standing inside the truck. A lot of times you put the cattle underneath him. He's over the top of them looking down on them, or he's hiding. So every time you bring that number, then you get set up for the next number in the alleyway, and he'll holler, bring them, and you'll bring that number, and then you end up loading the truck. And the point is that this is done like a symphony when it's correct. It's beautiful to watch to me, because I have no life, but I'm just saying, to me, I've always said I like shipping better than Brandon. That's because when you go, it's just flow. You got trucks coming, leaving, loading up, and they all sit out there and idle, wait on their buddies, and they head out. And it's one of the most important things there is about ranching, because that's usually the day you're going to get a check, the owner is. It's kind of important that he gets paid. And once again, it's done without firing a shot. The only noise you hear is the trucker telling you the numbers he wants. So that's just something to think about and to understand how it actually works. So I wanted to say hi to my friend Mike over in Nevada. It's a real pleasure meeting you, and it just really made me feel good to get to visit with you. So you folks take care, and I'll show you the end of the story on this when I get this horse right. Thank you. Okay, folks, I need to get this horse good about the morale, and it kind of comes up a lot in the cowboy world. So the way I do it is I just get some grain in it, then I hold it, and then I let them use my knee, and then they learn to use the ground, and then you can hook it over them. But you start off just holding it for them. And then once they get onto it, then I just sit down and put it on my knee. And you'll find out that he can push on it and not be afraid of it too. He can breathe while he's in there and find out he can make it. Once he's got that, then it's just a matter of putting it over his ears and then stay with him and let him sort it out. This is, once you get them onto it, this is a lot better than a bucket. You can pretty much smash down and go anywhere you want. Packers use them, cowboys use them. Now I'm going to let him hit the ground with it. And if you think about it, that's where a horse naturally eats anyways, their head all the way down. If you use the old burlap ones, the morale, they'll learn to fling it in the air and catch the grain, but I need him to learn to do that. And I'll start feeding him in the corral and put it on and just kind of sit there with him. And I won't have a halter on him then. Then I'll get to where I can hobble him and put it on him. And I'm sure, you know, it's you figured out by now that with me, I just kind of do things real slow. I don't need to get in a hurry. I've already done the hurry deal, so I can take my time and get this horse where he's not afraid of this. And that's pretty much it. It's kind of a simple deal, but it's worth $1 million once you get one good about it. So there you go. Thank you.